All right, hey guys, welcome back to another solo game playthrough. Today we're going to be playing a solo playthrough of Covenant, the newest kind of big box game from Devir this year, designed by German Milan. I don't know again if that's how you say his name, so I do apologize. But this is the Essen release for Devir this year, and it's a pretty heavy sort of Euro game. That's mostly a worker placement, but you're kind of doing a couple different things on these different parts of the board here. As usual, we're playing a solo playthrough, so I'll kind of go over how everything works as we're playing the game. But we do have to make some choices. I have to decide which of my starting resources and things like that. But before we get into it, I'm going to do my best to make sure I don't make any rules mistakes, but they're probably going to happen. So if you do notice something or you have a question, please comment those down below and point those out if something doesn't seem right. But again, I'm doing my best. To set the game up, there's a 2-player side. There's a 1 and 2 player side of the board and a 3 and 4 player side of the board. So, of course, doing the 1 and 2 side. These dice symbols are for the solo mode. So, if you're playing 2-player, you can ignore those. The bot has a deck of cards that dictates everything they're going to be doing. Like the player, there are going to be 4 actions that we can take at the beginning of the game, and their deck is comprised of those 4 actions. We will take, there's going to be 3 cards of each of these types. You take 1 of each, shuffle it up to make a deck, and then the remaining cards go into their tool deck, and they'll add more tools to their deck as the game progresses in the same way we will. We have our 4 tools here that kind of help us do what we need to do. We can transport, which is to take resources from our board. We have some resources that we'll be able to do. Transport them to one of the 6 locations around here, or the 7th location. We'll get into that when the time comes. To help us go down this yellow track. I don't know the names of everything. The player aid's literally a little book. It's very symbol heavy. There's a gang of tokens, so you have to bear with me. So transporting is going to bring stuff to these areas to get your gates and your towers or your pillars, and then you'll go on the court track. You'll go down the court track. Up this area is going to be the mining area. Is that mining? Digging to get resources. It's also the place that we're going to be moving down this blue track, which is the mining track. And we'll discover more areas of the mountain here. And then we'll discover more halls. Halls. I don't know if it's a mountain. I think it's a mountain. And then finally, we have the skirmish action, which is to fight the monsters in the halls. That's going to get us go up on this red track up here, which is the prestige track. It's going to also get us some points for doing that. And then finally we have the build action, which is going to take these buildings and place them in the halls. Those are the core 4 things we're going to be doing. And all that's going to be driven by our workers here. I'll kind of zoom in on my board. Do I have this mouse turned on? I think I do. But where's my cursor? Oh, I don't have it plugged in the right thing. Thought my mouse is hooked up. That's fine. We won't use this mouse. Okay. I'll go down to my board here and kind of show. We have these workers here, and you can see they have a value 1 on them. That is the strength of the action that the worker can do the thing on. So everything's got a strength value. We'll get into those. But you can upgrade the workers into 2s. And then their strength is 2. And then we have some 3s if we upgrade them again. And then they go to finally to strength 4. So these are my strength 3 and 4 tokens. But yeah, there's a lot going on with this game. Again, I'll kind of explain things as the game is progressing, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and decide what our starting resources are. Our starting little objective tiles are. I don't know what they're called. What are they called? We start the game with 2 objective tiles. We'll start the game with a resource tile, and then we'll start the game with a what is it called? A tradition tile. So these are our options. So we can start the game with emerald, a gold, 2 on the court track, 1 on the mining track, and 2. They're beer, but they're called support pieces. These support pieces will help us boost up our actions and make our actions +1 or +2. At every single council phase, which is kind of like an income / in between round phase, we're going to score a point for every one of our pillars and or gates we have out. And at the end of the game, if we get enough achievements, and I'll talk about that later, we'll get 2 points for each inlay we have and 2 points for each tradition tile we have. So we already have 1 to start with. This one here is going to be, we'll start with an iron, an emerald, 3 support tokens, 1 on the mining track and 1 on the court track. Every time we play, or this lets us break the rules of how we can play out our pillars. So pillars can't be placed. It's hard to tell from this icon here, but you can, when you place a pillar cannot be at any of the intersections around it. So if I place the pillar here, a pillar can't be placed here or here or here, but there's not a place to do it. This tile would let me break that, so I could place a bunch of my pillars a lot easier without having to spread out as much. At the end of the game, I'll get 1 point for each building and 1 point for each storage space I have available. I by default have 4, but I can unlock some more with this over here. Ooh, that's kind of tempting. I can really try to get some stuff built out, maybe do this stuff and do this stuff. What does that score me? Oh, yes. Maybe that's what we want to do. Okay, I think we're going to go with this stuff. So this lets me place out my things out. We're going to get an emerald and an iron. They're going to go in our storage area. We can start with 4 storage. We're going to get 1 on the court. I'll go up in the tracks in a minute. These are normally stored face down, but because we're playing solo, doesn't matter. So we're going to store them face up. We're going to remove these from the game. And we're going to come back up to the board and... Oop, that's the AI board. And we'll kind of go over stuff as time goes on. So I need to give myself 3 support tokens. Now the interesting thing with the support tokens is they come in 1 and 2 varieties. Anytime you gain a support token, you gain the support token. But if you have if you have a support token, you get a second support token. You can either take it as an individual single 1 token or upgrade your 1 into a 2. You can never change form. The way you have the token is the way you have to take it. And you can only use 1 support token per action. So you either have to use a 1 or a 2. There's no making change. There's no combining them into other stuff. They are, for all intents and purposes, their own resources. They do the same thing, but you can't interchange them. So I get 3 to start with. I sort of like the prospect of making all my people a little stronger. So I'm going to take 3 individual singles. We're going to go once on this track. I'm going to go once on this track. Okay, and then I can remove this, and we can go ahead and get started here. So, again, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building out here, building different buildings out in the area here, the halls. We're going to be mining to get resources. We're going to be skirmishing, taking out these monsters, these orcs and goblins and stuff to go up on the tracks up here. It's a lot of tracks, a lot of tiles, things like that. So, given that we kind of started with this, I'm going to want to probably focus on getting my pillars, and to get my pillars, we're going to have to take some transporting actions to take the resources out, to take them there, to get some of those things to get placed on the board. So I think what I'm going to do to start the game, we have 4 actions per round. There are 3 rounds in the game, and at each round, we're going to score. Kind of based on some different things here. The AI has a way more simply scoring thing, but we're going to score for the first round. It looks like every building that doesn't have a monster in its tile. Let me make sure that's right. You gain 1 GP glory point for each hall where you have a presence with at least 1 building and there is no enemies in the pieces. On round 2, we're going to score this and this, and on the final round, we're going to score this, this, and this. So we want to continue to work on those things because we're going to continually score them. Okay. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick an action we're going to take. I'm going to take one of my dwarves here. And I want to get some stuff built out. And I think it may behoove me to... do some mining because I want to build here. So, we're going to take our worker, our guy, and we're going to go here. And I'm going to actually place a support token there to make this action 2. And if we look up at the top of the board, do I have a preset for that? I sure do. Okay. So this is the mining area. So as you can see here, there's a 2 little hammer, then a 1, a 1, a 1, and 1. Our strength is 2. So we can take any combination of things with a strength 2, which means we can take this tile, which is a wild, or we can take any 2 of these ones here. And then depending on how many tiles we take, we'll get to go once, twice, or 3 times. for 1 and 2 tiles, for 3 and 4 tiles, or for 5 tiles respectively on the track here. As we move down this track, when we hit these little lines here, we get to choose a relic on this line. I'll kind of go over what those do for us at some point later. Again, lots of stuff going on here. So anyway, so we're going to pick 2 of these resources to take. I definitely want to take one of these iron, and I'm going to take, I think I want to take the gold. So we're going to take an iron and a gold. So we're going to add those to our board. And we don't refill till after the round, after our turn is done. So we're going to take that there. I'm going to just remove these tiles. So we took 2 tiles. We get to move once on this track. And then we get to expand out in the halls. So when we do that, we pick a tile that is adjacent to our revealed one. So it can be this one, or this one. And we get to flip that tile over. We gain the bonus on the tile that we touch. So, for example, this one will let me power up one of my workers from a 1 to a 2, 2 to a 3, so on and so forth. It can't be the one I just used, but it can be any other one. This lets us go up on tracks, obviously. This here would get us one of these tokens here, which will give us some income, a first-time bonus and then some income later on. But I'm going to go for this one, which is to get one of these extra tools. So we're going to take this. It's going to let me take one of these tools, and I have to pay an iron and an additional resource. And I think that additional resource I'm going to take is going to be gold, because I'm going to take this tile. I'm going to pay an iron and a gold, what we just picked up, to take this. Now this is a reading tile, which is a wild. It lets me do any action when I place there, which obviously you can see is a good thing. And we're going to place it in our area on our board here. And as you can see, there's a variety of symbols on our board, and those symbols are going to dictate a bonus that we get. So if we place here, we get 2 strength, and we get these buildings. If we place here, we'll go 2 on the prestige track and get these keys. I'll talk about the keys in a bit. This lets us move enemies. This lets us increase the strength of a worker and get more storage space, which I want for my goal. This lets us go up 2 on here on the court track and deliver to this big hall, which I'll get into later. I can spend an iron to take a relic. I can get an inlay, or I can expand my storage and go to on the mining track. The other really important part about this section of the board is this is endgame scoring if we have tools here. So this will score me at the end of the game for each 1 point per tool for each, I want to say, pillar and for each pillar and our gate that we've made. So theoretically, we could get up to 12 points off of that. This one lets us get a point or 2 if we have a point for each different relic type we have. This lets us get a point for each point or 2 for each enemy we have in our dungeon, and then this gives us a point or 2 for each region we have a presence in, and I'll get into that towards the end of the game. But because we're going to go for that, so we're going to go ahead and place here. It's going to get us our house and our, I think this is like a workshop. It's also going to let us increase the strength of a worker, so I'm going to flip this 1 to a 2, and it's going to let me unlock this, which is going to give me more storage space. And I've got that there. So now I have this wild action we can take later. But now I can store more resources, which is nice. Okay, and that's going to be my turn. So I'm going to get rid of this token, and I'm going to refill. Oh, I have to flip this over. I didn't finish. So I flip this over. When we flip these tiles over, we're going to look and see how many little skulls are there. That's how many enemies we're going to put there. We also see a little diamond. This is how many of these like basic buildings can be placed on those tiles. So, for example, only one little basic building can be placed there. Gates go in between buildings, or in between tiles, and so do pillars. So it's going to be for these basic buildings. You can only have one of your buildings on one of your basic buildings on a tile. The AI doesn't adhere to that, but we have to adhere to that. So I'm going to place 2 enemies here, like that, and then we're going to refill this. Slide these down, and refill, and refill. Okay, and then we're going to refill this. And that's our turn. So we're a bit in, first turn, but that's okay. We'll pick it up as the game kind of progresses, especially after the first round. All right, so what we're going to do with the bot, let me go down to their board, and I'll show you how their board looks. Their board looks very similar to ours. We're going to take the top card of their deck, and we're going to flip it over, and it's going to kind of tell us some things it's going to do. So first thing we're going to do is anytime it needs to choose something, it's going to roll this this d6, and it's going to make some choices. So the first thing it's going to do, it's going to do the same thing we did. It's going to mine or dig. So it's going to take 2 resources from the offer. It's going to go up twice on the mining track. Now, The rulebook says it gains a relic, but the card doesn't show that it gains a relic. And no one's been able to figure out if the rule book's a typo, if the card has a misprint, because anytime the AI would gain anything, the cards show what it's supposed to get. So it's kind of odd that it's not showing that it gains a relic. Because the rulebook printed words of the rulebook say it does gain a relic, we're going to give them a relic. But that bear in mind that could be wrong. So it's going to go up to it on the mining track, gain a relic. It's going to then choose a spot to do dig, and then it's going to go up on each track. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll show you how that works. Very simple bot to run. So we're going to roll this die. It's got to roll 2 separate results because you can see 1, 2. We don't want it can't take 2 things. So it's going to take this one, and it's going to take this one. So it takes those 2. It doesn't do anything with resources. Doesn't care about resources. It gains pretty much anything else here, but it doesn't do anything with resources. So it removes those from the thing. It's going to go up 2 on the mining track. It's going to take a relic based on where it can take one at. So the relics, you can see these arrows. When you land on the arrow, you can take a relic from any spot up above. It's going to look for ones that I don't have, and then it'll choose the top one. So it's going to take this. This is going to score at 1 point at the end of the game. It's going to roll, again, choose one of these to reveal a tile. It's going to pick 2, so it picks the leftmost one. It's going to pick this one. It gets the bonus just like I would, so it's going to move up on this track and on this track. And this gets flipped over. One enemy gets added. And then it's going to go up on each track once. So go up on that track, go up on that track, and then finally cross this line to go on this track, and then it's going to take a relic. It's going to take this one because it's the topmost one. Okay, and that's their turn. So we're going to discard this. We're going to move this up. Move this up. We'll refill. And we'll refill. And again, we'll kind of go through things a little faster for the subsequent rounds, but the first round's going to be a little bit. Sorry, I had to get some water. Okay, so we did power up one of our guys. I've got some more resources. I kind of might want to go back there to try to get some more resources so I can deliver. And because I gave myself one of these, but I need to clear some spots on the board to try to get some points for this. So we've got to build and we've got to skirmish. So we may not be able to get anything this round in terms of delivering here. So we'll maybe just focus on here. Okay, so actually we're going to go ahead and do a skirmish action. So we're going to use our 2, and I'm going to spend one of these tokens to skirmish. When we skirmish, you can see here, and I'll zoom in on that part of the board again. You can see here that to take out a goblin, you need to spend 1 axe or 1 power, skirmish power. 2 gets you a, I don't know what they're called, goblins, orcs, and trolls. So 2 is a troll, a orc, and a 3 is a troll. If you take out 2 goblins, you get to go once on the prestige track. If you take out 1 orc, you get to go up once on the prestige track. And if you take out 1 troll, you get to go up twice on the prestige track. The other thing is that regardless of how many of a particular enemy type you defeated, if you defeated at least enough to warrant, so it's 1, 1, and 2, you get this bonus resource there, and then this rerolls. So this kind of tells you the bonuses that are available on the die. So if I take out, I have a strength of 3 right now. If I take out this troll, I'll get 2 on the prestige track. I'll get 2 extra victory points, and I'll get a strength token. Here, if I take out, I can spend 2 to take out one of these guys. It'll get me 1 on the prestige track, 1 of those resources, and going on the mining track. If I take out 3 of these guys, I get to go up once on the prestige track, gain 1 of those. The other one doesn't do anything for me. So I've got 3 strength. Does it matter for me? I think it does. And I'm going to take this troll, and you can take from anywhere. Actually, let me see. Which ones do I want to do, actually? I actually think we're going to take from... Ooh, this is tough. So I'm looking at what's going to score me. We're going to take from... is that what I want to do? We're going to take these two. Okay? So we take one of these, which doesn't get us a bonus, but we've got it. And then we're also going to take this, which gets us 1 on the prestige track. It gets us 1 on the mining track, and it gets us 1 iron. And then for any of the bonuses that we roll, or we roll the die and reset that. And that's the go. Now, since we've got some enemies, I can kind of explain what the keys do. So if you look at our board... Oh, shoot. We look at our board. We have some enemies in our dungeon here. I don't know why it's so blurry. We have some enemies in our dungeon here. For each key, you can store 1 enemy, and you'll get some points in between rounds at the end of the game for that. So we want to get more keys to store more enemies. So that's what those are for. So right now we can only store 2 enemies. Before in between rounds, we'll remove any enemies that we can't hold. They've escaped, and then we will score points based on what we have in there. So, but right now we can only hold 2 enemies. So we've done that. That is our action for the round or for the turn. We're gonna go with the bot. So they're gonna build. So they're gonna look at this priority chart and say, I want to build a pillar. If I can't build a pillar, I want to build an arch or a gate. If I can't build a gate, I want to build a workshop. If I can't do that, I want to build a house. If I can't do that, I get 5 points. So they're going to build a workshop because they do have that. This tells us here how they're going to build it. So they're going to roll a die, and it's going to match this up, and they're going to build it in the row, the leftmost spot row they can, and then depending on what they build, they're going to get a bonus. Now, this is why the player aid is the way it is. When you build a building, depending on the symbol that the building is placed on, you get a special bonus. So when buildings, little houses are built, if it's on a green building, of a green rock, green little gem deal, you get an emerald or an iron. If it's a gold, you get a gold, and if it's a blue, you get a mithril. If you build a workshop there, you either get a tool, an inlay, or a tool and an inlay. If you build a gate, you get 1, 2, or 3 points, and you're going to get at least 2 points because you're connecting 2 different spaces. And then if you're putting a pillar, you're going to get one of those 3 things. And you're going to get 3 things because you have to build at the intersection of 3 things. So they're going to build one of their deals here. We're going to roll to see which one they choose. They choose 4, so they're going to build here. That's going to get them a inlay. So they're going to take one of these inlays. This is going to score them points at the end of the game. So they're going to take this, and it's going to score more points at the end of the game. The way these inlays work, and I'll come down to that part of the board so you guys can see it. The way that these inlays work is that we're going to attach them to our tools, and they're going to make our tools a little more powerful. So this will give us an additional bonus when we attach them to our tools. When we take them, we pay the resource and gain the victory points off to the side. The AI doesn't gain or lose victory points for taking any tokens off the board. So here, they wouldn't lose anything for taking these tokens. They're also not going to gain any victory points for taking those tokens. So they get the inlay for placing that there. And then finally, they're going to deliver to this area here. Now, when we normally, during the normal game, you can't deliver there on its own. I don't even know what it's called. It's like the Great Hall or something. So normally, to deliver here, you have to have a special action to do it. But when you deliver to one of these areas here to get a pillar or to get a gate, the strength in which for the action is depending on the 1, 2, or 3. So I can deliver 2 things here with a strength 2 or a 3 thing here with a strength 3. But if I went to a 2 or if I use more than what's needed at that place, remaining left to take the thing. So this needs 1 thing to take your gate, 2 things to take your gate, and 3 things to take your gate. And the same with the pillars on the other side. If I were to have excess power for that, what's remaining to fulfill that gate or pillar, I can take that excess and deliver it to the Great Hall. Whoever has the most deliveries at the Great Hall gets 6 points, and then the second player gets 3 points. He's just going to get to do it straight away. So he's going to deliver, and he has a delivery priority. So he's going to deliver a mithril. He doesn't actually pay for it, and he's going to put that there. Whenever mithril or gold is delivered to one of the places, you get 2 points. And anytime an iron or a emerald is delivered, you get 1 point. So he's going to move up on 2. And that's his turn. Again, we're going to keep this kind of moving quickly as after we get going, but that's how that works. Same here. So if I delivered 3 things here, I would get the points for that. But if I had a strength 4 and I delivered 3 things here, any excesses could be delivered here. And that's a kind of a majority thing there. So, okay. That's his turn. Our go now. We've got 2 turns left, and I know that I want to get some buildings put out. So I think what I want to do is... Can I strength? I can't strength 3 anything. I was hoping to maybe do a strength 3 something, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Oh, I got to refill this. Everything refills at the end of the turn, so I'm going to refill that. This is interesting. I think that lets me just place out a building, which could work in my favor. Okay, so we're going to spend our 1 plus this to build. And we have to choose what we're going to build based on the strength of our power. So if we only had 1 strength for building, I'd be able to build a house. If I had a 2 strength, I could build a one of these, a workshop, a gate, or a pillar. If I had a 3 strength, a house, and one of these 3. If it's a 4, it's a workshop and a pillar, or it's a workshop, a workshop and a pillar, or a gate. If it's a 5, it's a pillar and a gate, and if it's 6, any 2 buildings. So I'm going to do 2. I'm going to build out one of these workshops. We're going to build that workshop here, and when I place that there, wait, is that where I want to place it? I do want to place it there, but I don't really want to place it there, but I'm going to place it there. Yeah, I'm going to place that there. We're going to place that workshop there. Because I place it on a blue, I'll get to get one of these, and I'll get to get an inlay. So, nope, I don't want to do that because I can't buy any of these. So I'm not going to do that there. I'm actually going to do this. I don't have a gold either, which is I wanted this thing. I don't have a gold for that. Now I'm kind of questioning whether or not I do that. Maybe I just put a house there instead. Yeah, I'm just going to build a house there. So I'm not going to use this token. We're just going to use our 1 to build a house. Place that house there. I get a mithril in my storage for doing so. And that will be our go. Okay. The bot, they're going to deliver. So they're going to roll to decide if they're going to do a pillar or a gate. They do 6. So they're going to go here. They're going to deliver 3 things because they need 3 to remove their gate. And they're going to do mithril first. So they're going to cover up to 2 mithril spots, and then they're going to do gold. That's going to score them 6 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're going to place this onto their board. Then they're going to cover up one of these spots here. Now in the multiplayer, it doesn't really matter in the single player or 2-player because all the spots are available. But they're going to take the leftmost one, which is going to get them 3 movement on here. 1, 2, 3. They're going to take one of these tiles, so we're going to roll for which one they take. 2, they're going to take this to just get some points at the end of the game. And then they're going to gain 2 more on this track, which is going to get them another one of these, which is going to be 3, which is going to be that. And that's their go. Okay. So we have 1 action left before the end of the round. They're going to do a skirmish action. So, the question is, do I want to deliver? I have a bunch of stuff to deliver to get some stuff. So maybe we definitely want to do that. Especially if I can get like my pillar put there. So I have to get a pillar. So maybe it'd be worth going to do that. So I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to spend our 1 plus this one here to take some resources over there. And we're going to spend these 2. We're going to go here for right there and right there. That's going to, I'm sorry, right here and right here. It's going to get me 3 points. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to take this, put it into my board here. And then I'm going to cover up the leftmost one because that's the one I want, which is going to move me on this twice. It's going to let me take one of these. So taking one of these, I can take the rightmost one for free, but if I take any of these other ones, I have to pay victory points. When I take one of these, I'll place it in my board here, and I'll get the bonus printed on the board of whatever I place. Then on income, whatever the printed thing is here, I get that as income later on. So I can either get myself some stuff here, or I can get myself a point and a strength token. So I don't know which one I want, because the resources are nice just to have extra resources, but I have to pay points for them. Whereas this gets me a strength token, lets me do a little bit more. But I do like the idea of some extra points, or extra resources, so it might be worth me trying to do that. You know what? I'm gonna take I think I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna spend 2 victory points to take this. And now I can put it in any one of these spots, and I'm actually gonna put it here, which lets me immediately take one of these tiles. I'm gonna pay I can buy this one, or this one, because I have an emerald and an iron, and it costs the iron here plus whatever's in the corner, the emerald. I think I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna take this to go here. Do I want to go here or here? I think I'm going to go here. So I'm going to go here. It's going to get me 2 on this track and unlock my last storage area. 2 on this track goes 1, 2. I get to take one of these relics. I'm going to take this relic. And one thing I didn't mention, but the relics, as you can see, have a little bonus at the bottom. That bonus can be activated before you take your action or after you take your action. And now that I'm done taking my action, I can activate this relic. You turn it to the side, and it lets me upgrade one of my workers. I'm going to turn... I can't do the worker I just placed, which was this one. So I'm going to take this one and flip it over. This gets removed. We'll refill. Whoops. We'll refill. And we'll refill that. Okay. They're going to take their last turn. They're going to skirmish. So they're going to look... They're going to choose... a row, and the thing that they're going to look for first is a row with a troll, then a row with an orc and a goblin, and then a row with 2 goblins. There are 2 rows with orcs, so they're going to choose one of those, so depending on what they roll. So they're going to choose this one. They're going to take the orc. They're going to get the reward here, so 2 on this track, so 1, 2. They're going to take one of these. They're going to score points for it for the end of the game. So they're going to take this one. They just get a point for it at the end of the game. They're also going to get this, which is going to be 2 points, plus a strength token, which translates to 1 point. And then we re-roll this. And then they're going to go up on each track 1. So 1 movement here, 1 movement here, which that increasing a worker gets them a victory point. And then 1 here. And then this refills. Oh, this is upside down. I think that's it. I think we're good. So they're done with their go. And we're done with our go. So now we're going to go into the council phase. We're going to move down and do the council phase. I'll do the AI's council phase first because it's a little more straightforward. They're going to score 1 victory point per 2 goblins, 1 orc, and 1 troll. So they get 1 victory point because they have 1 troll. Then they're going to score 1 victory point for the first council phase for each building they have present. They've got 1 building present, so they get 1 victory point. That's their council phase. Very, very easy, very straightforward. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. Yep. So for our council phase, the first thing we're going to do, and this little play area has what we can do, we're going to take our dwarves back. We're going to... collect the rewards up here, so I'll get an iron, because I get the printed reward of this. We are then going to remove any enemies that we don't have enough keys for, but we have 2 keys and 2 enemies, so we're fine. Then we get the same scoring metric, so I get 1 victory point for having an orc. I don't have a pair of goblins, so I don't get any points for that. Then we're going to gain victory points based on the current tile here. So this tile says I get 1 victory point per of my buildings in a place with no enemies. I have 1, so I get 1 victory point for that. And that is the go. That's a round of Covenant. We're going to go into round number 2, and then we'll do that one more time, and then the game's over. So I'm going to probably pick it up a little bit, considering we've got to see most of the actions, but I'll explain things as things kind of go on. Now we're going to talk some strategy here. So I've got a lot of mining I can do. I can get a ton of resources. I would like to get this built out, and I need to clear some enemies. You got to do everything, but it's like very hard to do everything. So if I can clear some enemies here and I get my pillar built out. If I get this pillar built, I can get myself a ton of points by placing it here or here, because I'll get 2 points for each of my, wherever my pillar is, if it's touching a yellow spot, and there's 2 yellows here and 2 yellows here. So that might be good to get that pillar out there. And I've already got, I mean, both of these spots have, I mean, if I can get 2 pillars out, that'd be really nice. At the end of the game, if there are any enemies in a spot you have a building, you lose points. So I do want to try to clear those at some point. But because I've got this thing where I can place in pillars, I can place a pillar here and here and get a ton of points for that. So I probably want to try to go for that this round. So I think that's going to be my kind of objective this round. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my 1 here to deliver. We're going to spend this 1 iron to go here. It's going to give me a victory point. Take this. And then I'm going to move up on this track like that. Okay. So when they need to take anything, we just take their discard pile and shuffle it up. We take an action. Okay. They're going to skirmish. So they're going to choose. This is the only one with an orc, so they're going to go ahead and just take this one. That's going to get them 2 on this track. Which lets them have one of those. They're going to take this. They're going to get 2 points plus an additional point for the beer. And then they're going to go up on each track once. So they go up here, they go up here, and they go up here. This refills. This gets discarded. Okay. Now let's get some pillars built out. So for me to get a pillar built out, I'm going to place this there. I'm going to take this pillar. We're going to put it right at this intersection. It's because it's a 2, and I've used 2 strength. When I do that, I will get myself 1 movement on this track because I've got 1 blue, and then I get 2 movement on this track because I've got 2 yellows. Now, since I crossed that line, I get to take one of these. If I take this one, it's going to cost me a victory point. If I take this one, it's going to cost me 2 victory points. Let's see. So this lets me place. Wait, what does this do? Whenever I place this out, I can place multiple buildings in the same place. Is that what that says? This is where a lot of the fun of the game is you get these powers that let you kind of just do all kinds of stuff. So this is number 25. It says when building houses or workshops, you may place them in a hall where you already have an existing building if there's space for one. The tile up there, 5, says when you transport, you gain 2 victory points instead of 1 for each emerald you deliver. This says on here, all my goblins can only count for 1 key, and then this is when I place a house, I can remove. When I place a house, I can remove an enemy, but I don't get the resources or the prestige points. This could be good because then I just don't have to take that action, and I can clear out stuff to make sure I score for that. So that just might be good for that. But I do like sort of the prospect of being able to place out multiple things in one spot. So do I go for that? Or do I spend the 2 victory points to take this? I think I do. Okay, so we're going to take that one. Okay, that's our go. That is our go. Okay, the AI is going to take some tiles here, so I'm going to remove this one and this one. They're going to go 2 on this track, so 1, 2, and then they're going to take a relic. They're going to take one I don't have, and then they're going to break the tie at the top. They're going to build somewhere. They're going to build this one, which moves them once on this track, gets them a victory point for getting the fist. Move on this track, and place out an enemy. And then they move up on 1 track each. They're going to take a relic. They're going to take this relic. They're going to move up on this track, and they're going to move on this track. Okay. All right. A lot of track movement for them. Okay. Placing out houses would be nice. If I have 3 strength, so I need to get, if I want to place out something else, I'm going to need to get either some beer in order to raise somebody up. So I think we're going to probably just grab some resources. So I'm going to go here. Doesn't really matter where I go, but I'm going to go here to grab some resources. We're just going to take this wild. It's going to let me take... What do I want to take? I'll just take that gold. And then I get to go up once on this track, and then I get to reveal one thing. I'm going to take... Ooh. So if I do this one, I can get another one of these tokens, get myself a strength token as well as a victory point. No, I'm sorry. It would be over here. I think I'm going to flip this one. So we're going to flip this one. It's going to take this. That goes here. It's going to let me flip this to 3. So I'm going to remove this, get a 3. This flips over. And it adds 2 folks here. And that's my go. Okay, they're going to build. So they're going to do a gate because that's what they have. They're going to start. So they have a dice priority. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then they'll place clockwise around. So 1, so they're going to choose this tile first. And then starting here, they're going to place and then move clockwise. They can place here. Now, the placement bonus, the placement for gates, you can't have a gate on a tile that has a gate touching it, if that makes sense. So basically, another gate can't be at this intersection, at this intersection, at this intersection, at this, or this intersection. Basically, the 2 tiles that gate is touching, no other gate can touch that tile. So he places that gate out between a green and a blue, which is going to score him 4 victory points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I have not moved anywhere. I've spent too many victory points trying to do stuff. Oh, I didn't slide these down. And then he'll deliver to the hall there, and he'll do 1 to here. This is getting him 2 more victory points. Okay, so I've got a 3 that I was going to use to build more stuff, which is exactly what I want. So we're going to spend this 3 to build, and we're going to use our reading action to do that. And we're going to take our pillar and a house. The pillar is going to go here, and that's going to, again, going to let me move on. And I break that rule because of this. But that's going to let me move on. So yellow lets me move on this track twice, which is going to let me increase the power of one of my workers. We'll increase this guy to about 2 a 2. And then the blue lets me move on this track. And then I get to place a house out. And then when I place a house, I get to remove an enemy. So we're going to place this house. Ooh. We're going to place this house here. And I'm going to remove this. And he goes here, but I don't get the bonus for doing that. And that's my go. Yep, that's my go. Okay. They're going to take their final turn for the round. They're going to deliver, or so they're going to pick a tower or arch. They're going to take this that there. It's going to deliver this here for 2 victory points. So 1, 2. Then they're going to place this here. Move once on this track, which gets them one of these. And then finally they go 2 on this. Okay, and that's the round. So they're going to score 2 victory points for that. They're going to score 1 point for every building, so 2 points for that, and that's their phase there. For us, we're going to return our workers back. We're going to remove from our dungeon, so we can only hold 2 things. So this gets removed from our dungeon. That's 2 points for that. That's going to be an iron, a point, and a strength token. I got the point there. And then we're going to score here. We're going to score 2 points for every yellow thing our pillars are touching. So this has 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 8 points for that. If I had any gates, I would score 2 points for every blue it's touching and 1 point for every yellow tile it's touching, but I have no gates. And then here I score 1 point for every building that's somewhere with no enemies. Wait. Let me make sure it's every tile that a building is on with no enemies. You gain 1 for each hall where you have a presence with at least 1 building and it has no enemy pieces. So this is 1, 2 points for that. So 2 points for there. Because it's by hall. So there's that. Okay. I think that's it. Did I miss anything? I removed my enemy. Okay. So as we come into the final round, I talked about a little bit that we may get the chance to score these. As you can see, there are these star marks on the different 3 tracks. If you cross at least, they're called achievements, and if you cross at least 4 achievements, you can score 1 of the 2 of these. If you cross at least 8 achievements, you get to score both of them, and then if you cross 9, 10, 11, or 12, you get additional victory points for doing so. So, for each achievement we cross, we want to try to go as many achievements. So right now we've got 1, 2, 3 achievements. So we need to kind of boost up on these tracks a bit more if we want to score both of these objectives. Especially this one, because this will get me a lot of points. This one's not as much so far, but this one I'd like to get. Okay, so we're going to go into round 3 now. And I'd like to get some stuff built here. So for me to do that, I'm going to have to try to figure out how to do some more of those actions, but I don't know the best way to do it. I need some more resources, maybe. What would we go for? I can move on that track for one of those. So if we go to build, if we get some resources, we can increase the strength of our workers, which are those. We can go up on the prestige track, which will get me one of these, and it'll let me go up on this track, which will get me one of these, which these are all the same, so it's kind of a bummer. I can go here, which will get me a strength token in the mining track. The other 2 track, this might be the play to go up there. And then I got to turn around and try to get some stuff delivered. And I want to get a bunch of stuff built out, so I've got to figure out what I can get built out. But I can get to here, I can get another action, which will let me get some stuff here. And I'd like to get some stuff here because I want to like to score this. And getting more tools is pretty difficult, more or less. Well, I could build out on greens and blues to get the tools. But there's only 1 green. It's kind of tough here. We're going to take a 2, and we're going to take our strength here, and we're going to dig for 3, and I'm going to take this, this, and this. So it's an iron and 2 emeralds. Okay, that's going to let me move on this twice. 1, 2, which gets me another achievement. It also lets me take one of these tiles. I'm going to take this one, which is going to bump me on this track and this track. I get one of these and one of these. The one I'm going to take from here is going to be this one, and I'm going to place it. Let me think about where I'm going to place that. But I'm going to take that one. I'm going to take one of these. I think I'm going to take this one so I can place out buildings in the same spots. And then when we flip this over and add some enemies to it, and there's a blue. Okay, that actually could be good for us. So this is going to go, I might put it here to get an inlay. Yes. I'm going to spend a gold to take this inlay. So we're going to place that there. That's going to score me 2 points for taking that inlay, and I get to place it on somewhere that I can take a gold action. And do I want to place it here? Am I going to skirmish this game, or am I going to deliver some resources? Maybe I don't want that one. Maybe I want to take one of these ones instead. Maybe I want to take this. I'll take a 3rd point, and I'm actually going to take this, and I can place it on the action I took, and I can take that action. So I'm going to move on this track. So I think that's what we're going to do instead. Is that going to yield me better? Yeah, that's fine. We're going to do that. I don't know if that's really the right move, but we're going to do that. Okay. Alright, so the AI is going to go shuffle up their deck. They have not gotten another tool, which is pretty crazy. I haven't played a game yet where they've only gotten one of these. So, oh, they haven't gotten any of these, I mean. Okay. So they're going to skirmish. They're going to look for, so there's 2 spots with an orc. I'm sorry, a troll. So they're going to go for this one and take this one off. That's going to get them 2 on this track, which gets them one of those tiles, which will be this one. They're going to get 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Then they're going to move up on that track, which is another victory point, and this track. Okay, that slides down. Okay. So, I'm going to get some stuff put out. I need to clear some bad guys. Let's see. I think what we're going to do is we're going to place our 3 here to build, and we're going to build out these 2 because it's a 3. It's a house and then something else. The house is going to go here, which is going to get me a mithril. When I place a house out, I get to remove an enemy, and I'm going to remove this guy. And then I'm going to place this here, and I get to place it 2 things in the same spot because of this token. And that's going to let me take an inlay and one of these tiles. So I'm going to take from here this for the 2 iron. That's going to go here. It's going to give me 2 strength tokens. I'm going to take them both individually. And it's going to let me get these 2 buildings on my board. And then I'm going to get an inlay. And the inlay I take is going to be... It's going to be either this one or this one. Oops. I think I'm going to take this inlay, so I'm going to spend this emerald to take this inlay for 3 points. 1, 2, 3. This allows me to get an emerald, and it lets me move an enemy to a different location, to an adjacent location. And I'm actually going to stick that on the building action and get that, so I get the emerald back, and I'm going to move this enemy to that location there. So then at the end of the game, I will not miss victory points for having a bad guy in a spot of mine. Okay, so they're going to go. They're going to deliver some stuff, so they're going to look to see what they're going to build. They're going to do 1, which will be this one. They're going to go here to get themselves 2 victory points. They're going to take this, put it on their board. Then they're going to place this here to move on this track once. And then they're going to go on this track 2 more times to roll and take this tile. All right. 2 more turns and the game is over. Okay, I've got to get some presents in here to at least get the 3 points off of that, but I've got to get some more achievement stars. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can score only 1 of these right now. I'm almost about to get that one and that one, so that'll put me at 6, which is still not enough to get me the rest of my stuff. So I've got to kind of figure out how we're going to manage that if I want to score both of those things. I'm just going to build again. And if I built again, so I'll get points for having these on yellow, and I only have 1 on 1 yellow, so it's only going to be 1 point for that. 3 would let me place out a house. Yeah, we're going to do it again. So we're going to build out again, going here. So it's going to be 3. I'm going to build these 2. This is going to go... Where was I going to put this? Does it let me put the same kind of building in the same place? What is that, number 25? Let me just double check. When building houses or workshops, you may place them in a hall where you already have a house or a workshop if there's a space for another building there. So I could do this, which will give me another mithril. And I get to remove an enemy. I'm going to remove this enemy. And then I'm going to place this... Wait, do I want to place that there? I want another tile, which I need green or... Yeah, I need green or blue for that. A lot of yellows out. Yellow stones. If I go here, I'm not going to be able to get this tile, which is what I want to do. So it may behoove me to actually place this, because 2 things can go there, 2 things can go there. So it may behoove me to actually place this somewhere else. But I need to place it somewhere that I can remove an enemy. And I already removed the enemy I was going to take. So if I go here, I may just put it here and just get the gold instead of the mithril, so that I can place this here, and then I can turn around and get myself an inlay and get myself another one of these tiles. And I don't have any iron, or I don't have any iron to do it. So I would have place on green if I want to do that. Okay, let me undo that. I guess I have to place here, which is kind of a bummer, but it'll give me an iron. So I can spend the iron for one of these. And I get an inlay, because I placed on blue. The workshop on blue. So I'm going to take my iron. It's going to have to be an iron and emerald. And get... I'll just take this. Place that here, so it's going to bump me up on this twice. And let me deliver something to here. I'm going to deliver this emerald to there, which is going to get me 1 point. And then I've got this that I can buy an inlay with. I'm going to use this to buy this inlay, which will go here, and I'll reactivate that ability, which moves me across there, which increases my person to that. Okay, I think that's my go. I may just try to clear some bad guys off the board to try to make it as easy as possible for me to score that, and I just call it a day there. Okay, they're going to remove some rubble tiles. So they remove a 3 and a 1. They remove those 2. They will take a relic. They're going to take this one. Then they're going to move on this twice. And then they're going to dig out a spot. They dig out 4, which will get them another point. And 2 enemies will get added there. And then finally, they're going to go up on 1 track each. So 1, 1, and 1. Okay, they're going to get a gang of stuff for that. Okay, so we have a strength of 3 at the moment. The strength of 3 will let me clear these 2 off, but this guy's going to stay. So I think that's okay. Or we score -2 points for each place we have a presence with enemies. I could clear these 2 off, and then that's going to score me more points because I'll take -2 for this one. I think that's okay. We'll just leave it that way, and I can at least clear those 2 off because I don't want to lose the points for that. Let me just make sure that I'm reading that right. It says each player loses 2 points for every hall where they have presence with at least 1 enemy present. That's 2 halls. So I think I'm just going to use my 2 with this little axe here and clear this guy and this guy. That's going to bump me up once on this track and get me an emerald. And then we'll re-roll that. And we'll call it, that's it. That's all we can do. Oh, let's refill this. Okay, and then finally they're going to build out. They're going to build out their tower. They're going to choose. This is a 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5, 6, and then they'll move clockwise around. So 1, they're going to start with this spot here. They're going to start with the bottom spot. Can they place it here? They can't. Can they place it here? They can, because the intersections are where it can't do anything, and which means they go up on each track once, because there's one of each different symbol, so they'll go up on each track once, and then finally they'll deliver a thing here, score themselves another victory point for that, and that's going to be the game. So let's go ahead and we'll go on to this area here. So they're going to score 3 victory points for all that. So 1, 2, 3. Whoops. Then they're going to score 2 victory points per building. So they have 1, 2, 3 buildings. So it's going to be 6 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to go ahead and we're going to return these off our thing. We're going to remove people from our board. So we're going to remove, I only have 2 keys. So we're going to remove all these enemies here. It's 2 victory points for having those 2 guys there. And then we're going to get 2 victory points, 2 beers, and an iron. And then we're going to score all of these things. So first we'll score this. We get 2 victory points per house on a blue symbol, on a blue gem. So we have 1, 2, 3, so 6 victory points for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to get 1 victory point for every workshop on a yellow tile. That's only on 1, so you get 1 victory point for that. We get 2 victory points for towers touching the yellow gem. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 8 points for that. So back 2, up 10. Gates, I have no gates. And then finally we get 1 victory point for each hall that we have presence has no enemies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I caught up. That's actually pretty amazing. And I think that's it. So that is all of the in-play scoring. So I'm going to go to final scoring. So first thing we're going to do with the AI, so this is where the difficulty comes in. This tile here is going to tell us what they're going to score at the end of the game. So we're playing on the easiest difficulty. They're going to score 1 point for each of these things. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's 13 points for them. 1, 2, 3. Next, they're going to score 1 point for each card they have, tool card, and each achievement they got. They only have 4 tool cards, so they're going to score 4 points for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually crazy. I've not played a game where they've gotten no tool cards. And then achievements, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they go from here to here. And then finally, they're going to score whatever the end game scoring is for the big haul here, and they had the most, so they get 6 more points. So they end the game with 84 points. Okay, we're going to do final scoring as well. So for all final scoring, we're going to do the King's Throne. That's what it is. King's Throne. I get 3 because I do have something there. 1, 2, 3. If I didn't place anything there, we would score nothing. Next, we're going to do for our achievements. So we either get 2, 4, 6, or 8 points if we have 9, 10, 11, or 12 achievements. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I don't even have, I'm not even close to that. We're going to score one of our 2 objectives because we needed to have at least 8 to score both of our objectives. This objective is going to get us 1 point per building. Right? So right now, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. Or if I do this one, for each storage space, it's going to be 8 points. So they're going to score me the same, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to score 8 points. So here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to lose 2 points for each hall where we have presence where there's an enemy. And there's an enemy here. There's enemies there, so I lose 2 points for that. Next, we're going to get points based on our tools. So this is where this comes into place. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to score, for each tool here, we'll score a point for every gate and tower we had built. We only did 2, unfortunately, so it's going to be 4 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here we're going to score, this is a tricky one. We're going to score we're going to score for each district. A district is a grouping of halls of the same color. So right now, this is a district, this is a district, these two are a district, these three are a district, that's a district, and those two are a district. So we're going to score 2 points for each building, for each presence. At least one building grants you in which you have a presence, and in each district we have a presence. So we have a presence in this district, in this district, in this district, and this district. So that's 4 already. We have a presence in this district. Oh wait, that's the same district, because these are all one district. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 districts we're present in. We're going to score 2 points because we've got 2 tools. So that's another 10 points, so 75. And then finally, for every 3 combined units of support and resources, we'll gain ourselves another victory point. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 more point. I end the game 76-84. So we did lose. So hopefully that gave you a good idea how the game plays and how much, kind of what's going on. There's just a lot going on here in terms of explaining how things chain together. It does kind of get a little bit messy in terms of like just trying to follow it. As you can see, I didn't really do the skirmish. I could have leaned in like skirmishing a lot and getting my keys and getting enemies and scoring a bunch of points for that. I could have gotten more relics and kind of went into that route. But I kind of focused on my little powers here and seeing what I can do with that. So that should give you an idea of how the game plays. These player boards are asymmetric, and by that, some of these bonuses and stuff are moved around. They functionally have the same score. They all have the same scoring here, but the bonuses here are different, so the boards do different things. I think the really neat thing about this game is that it's one of those games which I super duper enjoy, where you have a set amount of turns to do what you gotta do. 12 turns. That's all you have. And just really finding that turn efficiency and finding that like making the most of your turns. I did a turn where I just like got one thing here, did one thing, and moved once on this track. Very inefficient turn. So you've got to really look for those spots for that. And I've had a game where I had all these combos super well. Like these are a pretty good combination, especially these two. But like getting these tradition tiles to make them combo really well, I think to me is probably like the draw of the game for me personally, because you're just like, you get a crazy combo, you can do some pretty cool stuff. I had a game where I had a couple of these tiles, and it was just giving me extra bonuses when in between rounds. So yeah. So lots of tracks, lots of bonuses, lots of there's so many tiles in this game. So many tiles in this game. My board is kind of warped. I don't know if you can kind of tell here, but it's not laying flat, so I've got to fix that somehow. But anyway, that should give you a good idea how the game plays. That's the easiest difficulty. There's 2 more difficulties, so you can definitely crank it up a bit. And yeah, this game, I've never had a game where he didn't get any more cards, so that was kind of an interesting thing that he didn't expand his deck. If that happened, he would have taken one of these cards and put it at the bottom of his deck, and then he would have used it later on. And then when his deck runs out, you just shuffle up his deck with the new card in there, and then now this action has a higher chance of coming up because he's got 2 of them in there. So he can increase his deck. That was just a really different way for that to happen. So anyway, that's going to be a playthrough of Covenant. Let me know what you guys think of the game, if you guys are getting the game or have gotten the game. And yeah, this is a big winner for me. I may go back and get Batoku, honestly. I'm really liking his design, and so Batoku could be on the horizon. I don't know. We'll see about that. But anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys want to see another playthrough of Covenant, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to do that. But yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much. I'll catch you guys in another one. Bye-bye.